Welcome to the College Football Bros. I'm Michael Newman.
I'm Ryan Newman.
And I'm Trey Newman.
All right, today we are giving a brief preview of Week 0. Of course, the biggest game, a battle of 3-9 teams from last year. Well, one of them was the greatest 3-9 team of all time. That's right. Nebraska minus 13 against Northwestern in Ireland. Trey, what are your thoughts here?
Yeah, I mean, it's a fun one to start the season. You get a conference game in Dublin. But last year, you look at this game, the Huskers just rolled Northwestern 56-7. Northwestern had a pretty dreadful season. This year, Northwestern, they kind of addressed that by bringing in a fair amount of transfers, especially on defense, since they really regressed last year after losing their defensive coordinator, Mike Hankowitz, the year before. And they also lose All-American safety Brandon Joseph to Notre Dame. Offensively, though, I do like Cam Porter, Evan Hull running behind the line. They got a guy like all-conference Peter Skoronski. Don't necessarily love the quarterback position. Fitzgerald's kind of playing it close to the vest, not naming a starter, but Helinski last year had a really bad year. Could be the guy again. I'll let you guys maybe touch a little bit more on Nebraska, but it will be interesting to see the changes on offense and especially special teams. But, when I look at this game all offseason, I thought I'd be on Nebraska, but it just seems like everyone out there is talking about how Nebraska was so much better than their 3-9 record, which is true. But also, Mark Whipple, he's going to help turn around the team. No one is talking about Northwestern in this game since they got smashed by the Huskers. I'm going to take the 13 points and see if Nebraska can change the narrative and win a game that they need to.
Yeah, I mean, first game jitters here. I always worry about a big spread and taking the favorite, especially when it's Nebraska. But Northwestern, I do agree that I think they're going to have a decent offensive line. They do have some talented players there, and they have a couple of solid running backs, so they're going to be committed to running the ball. So I think especially early on in the season, they're going to, and they want to test Nebraska, I'm assuming, in that regard. Nebraska lost their big deep nose tackles, so I think they're going to try to pound them early and see what they can do, see if they can hold up against the run. If Nebraska does kind of hold up and just doesn't allow them to run the ball, then Nebraska, I would like them to win this one. But I don't know. Northwestern, I think they're going to be able to pop a few runs here and there, and I don't trust Nebraska's offense right now. There's just so many new pieces, obviously a new offensive coordinator, Mark Whipple, and even the way Mark Whipple's talking about, like, he's saying going into the first quarter, we just can't lose the game in the first quarter. Just don't turn the ball over. It's like he's not talking about going and getting like touchdowns and making plays. He's almost just saying like, let's just not screw up. That's not instilling a lot of confidence in me right now, like that we're just going to go and score on them. I mean, I know Northwestern was a bad defense, but probably be a little bit better this year. So I don't know. I just see Northwestern running the ball, keeping it close. Nebraska's not going to be firing on all cylinders on offense. I think it's going to be a game going into the fourth quarter. Maybe Nebraska pulls away, but when has that happened in the fourth quarters recently with Scott Frost? Never. So taking Northwestern.
Okay. I mean, you brought up the point that I think is what I'm watching for, is if I know Northwestern's going to run the ball successfully, then taking 13 points with them, if they're able to shorten the game, does seem enticing. So we'll see there. That does worry me, but I'm going with Nebraska minus 13. So I'll be the only one to take the Huskers. I'm down on Northwestern again this year. They were horrible on both sides of the ball last year. I see them getting better, but I don't see the reason that there's going to be huge improvement. Like Mike Hankowitz isn't coming back as defensive coordinator. That seemed to really cause a drop off last year. It's not like they bring back a ton of returning production. Trey, you mentioned they do bring some transfers, but it wasn't like a huge transfer class. I don't see a lot of difference makers coming in, and I do see a difference maker coming out that you mentioned, Brandon Joseph. So for that reason, and I like Casey Thompson, Nebraska's transfer quarterback from Texas. I think he's going to open up the passing game a little bit more than Adrian Martinez could. So I'll be optimistic. We're Husker fans. I'll take the Nebraska minus 13.
Boy, I hope you're right.
I know. It's tough because usually with Northwestern, giving 13 against Northwestern is a scary proposition. But that's for me, I'm saying maybe that's with the old Northwestern. Maybe this new, right. I mean, last year, if they're anything like last year, then I'd be happy to give 13.
Yeah, true.
But let's pick one more game each to break down for week 0. Of course, not a star-studded week of games, but it's the first weekend of football. We're going to be sitting there watching it. So what else
games on
at?
TV.
Yeah.
I'm excited. I don't care.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm excited for the game that I'm going to talk about, and it's going to be 2 really bad teams. Vanderbilt at Hawaii. Vandy's favored 8 points. It kicks off at 10:30 Eastern time, so you got to love those late night games. You get to see it as you're, getting into bed, whatever. It's cool. Always nice. I know they're bad, but I'm interested. You got Clark Lee going into his second season there at Vandy, and the legend, Timmy Chang, going into his first year, the former Hawaii quarterback taking over there. I think Vandy's going to be more competitive than they were last year. They got a decent amount of production coming back, and they did bring in some transfers that are in line to play. They're not just guys that are depth kind of purposes and just no, they're in line to start, particularly on defense. So I think they'll be better there. And they got better when Mike Wright took over at quarterback on offense. They weren't good, but they at least got better. Ken Seals was just a train wreck. So Mike Wright's going to be the guy. Dual threat quarterback, gives them some options. So I think they'll be more effective a little bit on offense and defense. I like them in this game because Hawaii just has nothing. I mean, they're the last in the nation in returning production. Quarterback transferred. I mean, they're going to be so bad. They're going to be really, really rough this year to watch. So I hope Timmy Chang can, pull in some decent recruits, but you got to give them time.
Yeah, they got gutted for sure with Todd Graham leaving and all the transfers.
Oh. Yeah.
Okay. Game I'm looking at is North Texas at Utep. Another conference game. 2 legit dark horses in Conference USA. I like North Texas in a pick'em game here. They had a lot of injuries last year, but really picked it up the end of the year. They won 5 straight games to make a bowl game at the end of the season. They've got a really good running game. Player to watch out for them is Oscar Attaway III. He missed all of last season with an injury, but he should be back healthy, big running back. I think he could have a big season. For UTEP, I worry about the loss of Jacob Cowing because I really feel like that was such a big part of their offense last year. They actually lost their top 2 receivers, so I'm not sure about UTEP's offense if they've got anything this season.
All right, yeah, my game is Wyoming. They're playing at Illinois. The Illini are favored 10.5. Wyoming, though, they're almost last in the country in returning production. They were crushed by the transfer portal. Craig Bohl, he's a tremendous coach, but this is a really tall ask in their first game after losing guys like wideouts Isaiah Nayor, Xavier Holiday, a couple quarterbacks, some defensive backs. So it's going to be quite an overhaul for them. And you got the Illini over there. They're coming into year 2 under Brett Bielema. They've gotten a new offensive coordinator. Likely Syracuse transfer quarterback Tommy DeVito throwing the rock. They have a good running game led by Chase Brown. They can use Juice Williams 2.0 on the outside. Ryan Walters did great with the defense a year ago. And they did lose a couple pieces, but they get a guy like Calvin Hart at linebacker returning. And year 2 in his system, I think there should be enough there. The line seems a little short, 10.5, but I'm trusting Ryan. Ryan's been a little bullish on the Illini, so I like what they've got in this game, so I'm going to take the Illini minus 10.5.
Yep, I like that pick.
All right, well, there you have it for our brief Week 0 preview there. Thanks for checking out this episode of the College Football Bros. If you're watching on YouTube, be sure to subscribe and enjoy college football this weekend.
You've been watching the College Football Bros. Be sure to subscribe here on YouTube and in your podcast app for college football content all year round. For bonus episodes and access to our Discord chat, join our Patreon at patreon.com/collegefootballbros. Thanks for watching.